Okay, just starting out. Before I get into anything, just want everybody to know that I represent myself, no one else, not the company, not any organizations or any certification or organization I am affiliated with, or a member of. So moving forward, this talk is just really for people who they hear about cybersecurity, they hear about all the cool technical roles in it, pen testing, IR, threat hunting, incident response, everything, but the truth of the matter is there's other roles outside of this. And I met a lot more people who haven't done pen testing, who have not done malware analysis, or who has not done incident response. And they have very successful careers and roles, and understand where they fit in and how they fit into this overall team sport of cybersecurity, as a couple of other presenters has explained. So a little bit about me. AJ already went over a couple of details, but I've been in the field pretty much over 10 years. I would say 11 years. I started to lose track after some time. But currently I work for a consulting firm that I specialize in OT and ICS security. Pretty much OT, operational technology, ICS security. It really encompasses a lot of the critical infrastructure. So the electricity that you're using to power on your router, modem, and computer. These are operation technology assets. The gas or electricity used to heat up your house, same ordeal. A lot of these things that we kind of really take for granted, they still need to be defended. They're still under attack by modern adversaries, and they need to be defended because a power outage sucks, period. So digressing a little bit, if you have some type of an engineering background, you come from somewhere manufacturing, you understand electricity way better than I do, or how gas heat up the house, or how you produce energy. You're already a step ahead of me when it comes to a lot of this information. So green the open field in operation technology and ICS. So if you have that background, you know something way more than I do, definitely that's a route for you. And this green pasture is wide open. It's not a lot of people into it. I believe one of the other speakers said something like that, and this is true. It's really true. But pretty much digress. I digress. Coming back to my background, I'm someone who's new to cyber at some point as well. We all were at some point, and that's the truth of the matter. We all were new at some point, and it's okay. The thing is, it's okay. I came from mass communication background, so I tried to do news broadcasts. It didn't work. I was told I had a lazy tongue. A lazy tongue is where if you're talking to somebody, they can hear me with their natural ear, but on camera it really didn't come out right. So I didn't enunciate it well enough, and like that. Wasn't for me. I get it, got it, good, understood. So transitioning myself to cybersecurity. My story is kind of it's superficial. I was sitting down on the couch. I saw a commercial that says, "Hey, we need cybersecurity professionals." I called the number and did a degree in cybersecurity. Literally my story. Can't make it up. That's the story. So I know you've seen the commercials. You've probably seen the cliche things that go with it. Like, hey, yeah, I called the number and I have a job later down the road. Yeah, that's kind of how it worked, but it's a little bit more detailed in between that. But I also coach and mentor new and aspired cybersecurity professionals. I've done a lot in my short-term career. I mean, I'm not 20 years in, 30 years in, like a lot of people. They've seen way more than I have. But I've seen a lot coming from where I came from. And, I have a lot of useless information, helpful information, things that may not be helpful until you actually down the road. Like, oh, I see this. It's helpful. Thank you for letting me know. And in many aspects of cybersecurity is very huge. It's a huge field. When you're talking about, hey, IT, and you come back down to cybersecurity only narrows that pie just a little bit. And I'm still new to many aspects, such as software development. I know some of the things how to do it, but I'm very new to that field, and I wouldn't know where to start, what to do, what is the proper protocol for secure, developing software securely. So I'm new to that aspect, and it's okay. It's one of these things you got to embrace and you have to understand. Moving forward, welcome to cybersecurity. If you're here, welcome to cybersecurity. And when the thing about it, when you ask people like, hey, okay, great. I want to get into cybersecurity. What should I know? What should I do? How should I get into this? These are just some of the quotes that you hear. And I'm not saying this is bad advice. The thing is, it's not bad advice. It's just, it's very pointed advice to technical roles. So you'll hear things like, hey, get out there, build a lab, try things, build VMs and do things to really kind of get your skills up. They're red and blue teams. And, you have, either you're going to be offensive or you could be defensive. Or, hey, you should learn Python first so you can automate a lot of your things. And like I said, it's not really bad advice. It's just that it's very technically, it's very good to technical people who are in that technical field and in those technical roles. And if you find yourself, hey, you know what, I kind of really don't like it. Honestly, personally, I found pen testing a little bit boring, but to each is all his own. But the thing about it is that there's so many more roles in cybersecurity other than pen testing, incident response, malware analysis. So to pretty much, one more too, went a little too fast there. But the truth about it, and I pull out this quote from the CISO of HP, and I think she put it beautifully when she said, highly technical roles are key, but on average, they make up less than a third of healthy cybersecurity organizations. I feel like this is so true. So when you think about it, a third is if my math is still correct, 1/3 is 33%. So you're talking about at least out of let's say out of 10 people of a whole security firm, you're talking about less than about 3 people who are very highly technical for a really healthy organization. I would say on average, you may have 10 to 20 people, but you're still looking at 3 to 4 people who are still highly technical in those roles for a very healthy cybersecurity organization. And the other thing I did want to point out that she quoted is to be successful in this field, you don't have to just have the technical roles here. There's so many other roles that are very non-technical in nature that we need in cybersecurity, such as risk management, which was covered by multiple speakers in previous talks. Business analysis, sales, hugely sell. If you have you can have the coolest product in the world. If you can't sell it, you're out of business. Period. Deal support, marketing and communications. If you have some of these skills, you come from somebody's background, you're really good at this, you have a part and a role in cybersecurity, whether you believe it or not. I'm here to tell you that you do. So what I mean by more of a non-technical definition now, when I say in-depth technical knowledge, so you see trainers that have very high level technical knowledge. So let's say you take a penetration testing course, a very high level penetration testing course. You may learn things how to build a port scanner in Python, and how to really do a lot of cool stuff in Python. Or you may figure out, you will learn how to use a hybridfield.sys file to do memory forensics. And just kind of give a little background, hybridfield.sys file is just a file on a computer that it's kind of a backup version of memory if you can't really pull memory off of a machine. Trying to just give you like a little context. But this is like really in-depth technical knowledge for pen testers, red team, blue team, digital forensics, malware analysis, people who should know this if you're really into that technical aspect of it. However, there is some level of knowledge that you need to know. So you need to understand pretty much the vernacular and the vocabulary and what things mean, why they work in cybersecurity. So I don't need you to understand how to build a Python, a port scanner Python, but I do need you to understand how the internet works. So if I type www.sans.org or google.com, from a high level, what happens? What is the TCP/IP model? What does it actually do? What is TCP/IP versus OSI model? And TCP/IP and OSI is pretty much the vocabulary we use and how pretty much the internet works. If I need to get something from google.com or sans.org, following that TCP/IP stack is pretty much how I get, how I send a request and how the request comes back. Another thing I would say is understanding maybe what a hash is. I don't need you to understand each and every last algorithm of a hash. I feel like you do need to understand why do I hash things? And hashing is primarily used for integrity. So I'm sorry. So yes, if you understand why you hashing or what it's a hash for, I feel like this is a sufficient knowledge and you understand the vocabulary and vernacular and why you do things when you're entering a lot of these non-technical roles. So jumping into more of the non-technical roles, and a lot of speakers explain it way better than I did, but I'm gonna do my best to kind of match their awesome definition of how they explain a lot of these roles. The first kind of roles that comes as far as non-technical roles are governance, risk, compliance. And to me, this is kind of a definition. I don't want to kind of copyright and have to kind of go through all that, but it's the understanding of risk management, business operation, ethics, and safety security practices. So I say governance, risk, and compliance is more of a topic in itself. It's like a header topic. And then you have these roles under governance, risk, and compliance, such as compliance management, awareness training, auditors, excuse me, IT risk management, policy management, supply chains. And on the right side of those hyphens or those dashes are, I would say common job titles you would see. Now, these are going to vary among every organization. I'm trying to do my best to kind of say, okay, if I want to do compliance management, what kind of role would I look for? A cybersecurity compliance engineer would probably be a role that'll marry up to compliance management in that governance, risk, and compliance role. So that's kind of where I'm trying to convey here. The same thing with security awareness specialist, a PCI QSA. Now, PCI is the payment card industry. QSA is the qualified security assessor. Make sure I had that right. But pretty much, this is the people who go out. If you use a credit card, if you use any type of major credit card, Visa, MasterCard, and Amex, and there's one more, and I always forget the last one. They get audited, and they have to adhere to these PCI standards for them to actually process credit cards. And if you understand PCI and how they do this, if you understand the credit card payment and what security, give me a second. If you understand the payment card, if you understand what, let me come back to that. Give me a second. I'm blanking for a minute. But the information security system officer for pretty much IT risk management, the policy management, pretty much you analyze policy, make sure your policy is lined up with the organization. The CMMC assessor is, give me a second, cybersecurity maturity model certification. And this is more of a United States Department of Defense initiative to pretty much assess third parties dealing with Department of Defense classified information. The thing about this is more so they want to make sure that if we're partnering with let's say contractor A, we want to make sure that you have the same security, hygiene, compliance, and posture that we do to ensure that we can make sure that we're not really a breach on your end doesn't really domino effect down to the bigger end of, say, the DoD, Department of Defense, at least in the United States. I'm not sure if anybody's outside the United States is listening, but I'm taking this from more of a United States point of view. Kind of going back to the payment card industry, the PCI QSA, it's pretty much the guidance that you need to do, the security controls, mitigation, and compliance you need to do in order to process payment cards. If you don't meet these compliance and controls, they say no, you can no longer process Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and that's a huge business hit for people who can't take payment card industries. Another non-technical role that I feel like is very prevalent is data security roles. Now, data security is just the act of securing digital information from unintended usage. What is unintended usage is very broad and very subjective. I get it, I understand. But these are some of the some of the subtopics such as data loss prevention, data classification, data privacy, and data governance. I know some speakers went into way more detail I'm going to as far as what these roles consist of and what do you actually do. But data loss prevention specialists, pretty much how do you ensure that data is not leaking out or going to other places that doesn't really need to be, that it doesn't need to go to. A lot of this may deal with HIPAA as well. HIPAA and data loss prevention sometimes marry together very, very nicely, depending on what you're dealing with, and patient information, not making sure that it's not going outside of the people who need to know at the end of the day or leaving the organization. Data classification is pretty much how do you classify data? So how do you say something is, how do you classify something as sensitive? And when you put that sensitive label on it, what controls or mitigations or security defenses need to be put as far as just making sure that sensitive information is protected to the sensitive level? Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's probably some other people who explain that definition a lot better. Data privacy, huge. GDPR, Privacy Act, how data is actually, how do you keep the, how do you actually keep the how do you keep privacy in as far as data that you collect? GDPR is a huge thing when it comes to just data privacy, and what can you collect, what can you not collect, and if somebody asks you to delete it, I want to delete some of that. And then I know this goes a lot back with governance, compliance, and auditing, but they marry together. Data governance specialist is pretty much the encompasses of everything here, with a few other tasks in between as well. Project management roles. Like I said, this is explained way better than I'm going to do it, but pretty much managing the process of delivering a product or services. You need to roll out a new antivirus solution. You need to roll out a new security monitoring program. You need to roll out a cyber threat intelligence program. You need project and program managers to roll this out. Project management is pretty much managing, say, hey, I'm rolling out this AV project. Program management, and this more PMI definition, is a collection of projects and programs, but more so you're more likely rolling out a security strategy. So you're rolling out AV with antivirus with security monitoring, with also endpoint defense solution, or a SIM, which is I'm losing lexicon here. But I have an acronym page at the end. I promise you there's an acronym page at the end of this presentation to make sure that I didn't miss any acronyms that I put out here. But a system event and system incident and event monitoring, pretty much where you push all your logs and collect events. And you have things such as agile, lean, and lean project management, which is just a more agile way of doing project management. So project management, you have a plan, you more stick to it, and that's your plan that you're going to go with. And I'm not going to say there's not changes, but you're more resistant to change as far as in project and program management. Agile and lean, it's more adopted. I see it more adopted in software development, but it's being adopted in a lot of other security projects and product rollouts where, hey, we embrace change. We're actually trying to put the best product out, and we're going to do changes based on what the feedback we get from our client or customers. At the end of the day, it's just more of an agile way where they more embrace change versus a project where it's like, hey, this is the plan and here we go. Legal roles. If you have a legal background, huge opportunity, because now there's a lot of legality around cybersecurity. Not to say that there wasn't a lot of legality before, it's just become more publicized as far as the legal proceedings and what can you do, what can you not do, what are am I held in, not really in contempt, am I being negligent, am I being grossly negligent? Did you actually do the things that you say you was going to do as far as just an organization, being liable for a lot of things? If you're a lawyer and you're already practicing law, and maybe it's just acquisitions and mergers, contracts, real estate. Getting to cybersecurity law is becoming a huge thing because, am I liable? Am I legal? Can I get sued? Being sued is kind of a thing now, especially in cybersecurity, because it's not a lot of people are just being really negligent on some aspects of just defending their organization. Contract management. If you're getting an outsourced service, or you're trying to bring in a third party to do service, make sure that contract lines up with what your business needs and what they're actually delivering. Mergers and acquisition. Are we actually going to bring these risks in? Are we going to actually buy this company and all of this liability and problems that come with it? These are some of the things that these are back end things when we hear about merger and acquisition, or somebody bought somebody else. Merger and acquisitions, lawyers are involved heavily in these mergers and acquisition. General legal counsel, internal legal counsel, in organization, breaches happen day in and day out. One of the few people, me being an incident responder before, one of the few people that one of the top people that we called in as far as just public relations and communication was the lawyer. What do we do here? What do we say? Are we liable? What should we do? And these are becoming general counsel, in-house counsel as far as cyber-related matters. It's becoming a thing because organizations are understanding that they're being breached. And as from a legal standpoint, they can get sued. What can you do? How do you clean it up? What do you say? What's the next step? Making sure that you're doing everything as far as the legal standing at cybersecurity go. Now, I'm not a specialist in the legal field. I can definitely point you to other people, but I do know the general aspects of it. E-discovery, huge e-discovery. E-discovery is more so collecting evidence. So let's say there is a court case going on, and the judge ordered you, hey, you need to turn over all these emails to the opposing counsel. If you've seen Law and Order or any other legal show, maybe you know what I'm talking about. And I know it's TV. I know it's a little bit different than in the real world, but an order can definitely come down like that. E-discovery is that process of making sure that you're collecting those business emails in a court-approved manner. You're tracking it, making sure the integrity is still there, making sure that it's still usable, and make sure it's still usable in the court of law, making sure there's no tampering with. And typically, you would think like a lot of cybersecurity specialists, people who are very technical in depth. But honestly, a lot of the lawyers write how to do this. So there may be some technical aspect where you use a certain tool to really collect things, or how do you collect it. You may get some advice from more technical people, but this is more of a legal standpoint. We need to collect these business emails. How are we going to get them? How are we going to audit them? How are we going to track them? How are we going to make sure that the integrity of these emails stay the same? So when we send it over to the opposing counsel, or for whatever reason, that it's still going to be usable in the court of law, and I'm not getting accused of tampering or just withholding evidence at the end of the day. Communication roles. Now, if you love to write and you can make magic happen on paper or any type of medium, you have a place in my heart, not in cybersecurity. These are one of the roles that nobody likes to, in my aspect, and the people I run across, nobody likes to do because it's boring. And then two, it's just, it's almost repetitive at the end of the day. It's one of those repetitive roles. But I'm really going to hop on one role. Policy, right? Now, if you love to write policy, you know a lot how to write maybe memorandums, not memorandums, but how policy should be written as far as just a user, as far as just user behavior, what needs to be in there, how to make sure that it comes off on paper, so that when I read it, I understand exactly what I'm doing and I check the box correctly. Great opportunities for you as well. Technical writers have more place in my heart, and I'm gonna stay on this for a little bit longer than a lot of the other roles. Technical writers are a godsend. I don't care what anybody says. That's just my opinion. I get it. I will go to the hill and die on this one. Technical writers, if you push something out that other customers have to read, and I'm encouraging anybody who has the hiring power. If you run a business, if you're in a position to hire and make roles available, technical writers are the best thing that has happened to cybersecurity or in IT general. Being a pen tester, being an incident responder, putting out these reports, technical writers make what I'm thinking and what I want to say in a technical manner comes out on paper much better than what I want to convey to the general audience, because even though I may talk to somebody who's very technical in nature, 9 times out of 10, these reports are going to people who have maybe no clue, never heard of what a hash is, or what what TCP/IP is. Technical writers are the best thing you can do. If you don't have one, go get one. Period. Full stop. If you don't have a technical writer, go get one. Full stop. Anything you push out, go through your technical writer. If you are a technical writer and you know to write blogs and you know how to make magic happen on paper, you have a role. I promise you have a role. These are just they're very magic. It's almost black magic to me, but moving on from there, digressing. To kind of really, not to really go into each and every last one of these roles, but there are some other technical roles as far as like physical security, cybersecurity, insurance adjusters, recruiters, sales. A lot of other people definitely explain this a lot more. Understand that these technical roles, these non-technical roles matter. These non-technical roles are pretty much what gets a lot of the money funded. They make you resonate with the business. They make sure that they keep the people employed. They keep the technical people employed. Just understand these non-technical roles are there to help people. So these are just a list of certifications that I feel like are very technical enough where you can have the vernacular and the vocabulary to really just succeed in a non-technical role. But there's a more comprehensive list of cybersecurity certifications. I feel like this is one of the more comprehensive lists, but with this picture, and you can see there are way more certifications than anybody would need to have in their lifetime. But when you look at it, the bottom row is more of the beginner and entry level and foundational, where you get that vocabulary vernacular. And as the further you go up, they get a lot more expert. They get a lot more technically in depth. I would say from here, when you look at this, and I'll include these links, I would say go no more than maybe like 4 or 5 levels above. So starting from the bottom, don't go more than 4 or 5 rows in at the top. So where do you find these roles? These roles are very, they're on the job. They're on the job board, LinkedIn, Monster, wherever, Indeed, wherever you go, look for roles. 2 things I want to definitely talk about to more so find these roles. It's called absolute searches and Boolean searches. So absolute searches, this is kind of more of a Google hack, but if you put some quotations around anything you're looking for, it gives it more absolute search, where you're saying, okay, show me only roles that's here. And so I have the example here, project management. So I want to see only project management roles, but I also project management roles across a lot of industries and a lot of industries, but you want to do project management role in security. So this is where a lot of the Boolean search comes in. And to kind of give a little definition of Boolean searches, it's more so a true or false statement. They kind of give true or false statements. So if you see the examples below, it says puppy and kitten, both terms have to be in there, or in the or statement, I'm sorry, if you see the and statement, puppy and kitten have to be in the terms for both of them to be true. If you see the or statement, says puppy or kitten have to be in the statement to be true. Or if you see the not statement, it has to say puppy has to be in there. I mean, no, it doesn't say puppy have to be in there, but kitten cannot be in that statement for that to be true. And that's just kind of an overview of Boolean searches. If you don't see what you like, and this is kind of my universal search, start with a CISO mind map. Go Google any one. I have the SANS CISO mind map here, and look at all the things that's there. That's all the roles that the things that the CISO has to worry about. Understanding these, when you look at some of these, you can find a lot of these topics, these subtopics here, and these are roles that's in cybersecurity, because the CISO has to worry about it. There's cyber information security roles. Start there. If I didn't cover something that you don't like or you didn't see, start there. Start with a CISO mind map. Start exploring. Find something you like. Google searching and try to definitely research and then do more research on it. Here's some references and links of other job skills and roles to say, hey, here there's the nice cybersecurity framework has pretty much roles, and they have role titles. So people who maybe starting a information security program. Hey, how do you title things? Where they at? They have a lot of technical roles and non-technical roles. Here's another link to 50 cybersecurity titles and the cybersecurity roadmap. So just like the mind map, the roadmap has the same thing as, hey, I started off as a GRC analyst and I moved here, then I moved here, then I moved here. These are where you can get ideas to look at other non-technical roles in cybersecurity. And here's the acronyms and definition page. I will definitely share my slides once I'm done. And to kind of wrap up, this is how you reach me. I will definitely share the slides. I have the links for people to click in there. I will definitely put it in the hall when people, every link that I put in there, I will definitely attach it to the hall and everything. But this is how you can reach me on LinkedIn. You have any questions, random or not, you need a mentor, you need guidance, you want to hear my opinion on something, feel free to reach me. I'm more active on LinkedIn and Twitter. I use both, but if you want to get in contact with me, LinkedIn is probably the best way to do it. And that's wrapping. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you learned something from this talk. If you have questions, by all means, I'll be in the hall. I have time, not a limited time, but I have time to definitely answer any questions that you may have, and any comments, any concerns, or any question you may have, definitely ask.